The video. The video. Cue the video.
Welcome to General Session 4. My name is Sophia Spencer, and I am in the 7th grade at MS 104 in New York City. Wow, this is the last and final session of the convention. Over the weekend, you voted, you saw the wonderful speakers, and you honored so many volunteers for the things they are doing for kids like me. Thank you, PTA, for supporting kids, raising awareness. Go, Aunt Helen!
Now that one was a hard one. Good morning. Welcome to, I can't see now, I'm crying. Welcome to the fourth and final general session of the 127th New York State PTA Annual Convention. I would like to thank my niece Sophia Spencer for her final student wishes. I am so proud of her, and I hope you enjoyed all of the student videos at the beginning of each session. They are the reason why we do this work. I would like to now invite Thadaha Thuma Kamar Slavin to come up to give the inspirational message for this morning. Oh, that was a...
I was going to jump the stage, but after last night, I can't wait. So before I start, I just want to say, Iniya Deepavali Nalvatakal. So for those of you who don't know Tamil, that says Happy Deepavali. All right. So I was asked to give an inspirational speech, and for me, that's very difficult. And when trying to figure out why it was so hard, I realized that's because the quote that guides me is the reason. Be the change you wish to see in the world, by Mahatma Gandhi. I am what some people have labeled me as, a change maker. I live by this quote, and at times it's a solo path. However, as a PTSA member, we all have a special task to be change makers. We have the ability to be the change we wish to see. We have the ability to create a place that will be better for those that come after us. And many times, as we're going upstream by ourselves, we get discouraged. But my favorite fish from Finding Nemo said it best. Just keep swimming. When everything seems impossible, just keep swimming. And eventually, you will either find someone to come along with you on your journey of change, or you will get the result you were looking for. Remember, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. Keep your head up high and your belief strong. Be a change maker, and don't ever give up. I was like, I gotta give you a hug.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Thadaha, for those beautiful words, and always being a change maker. We hope you enjoyed our fantastic banquet and celebration last night and had time to visit the exhibit hall over the last few days. The virtual exhibit hall will open this week. Please look for it on our website and learn more about our exhibitors and our partners and what they have to offer. We also hope you have taken advantage of the wide selection of workshops that were offered throughout the weekend. As a reminder, many of them will be available on demand following the convention. Most importantly, we hope you had time to make connections with like-minded PTA members from across the state that will last forever. I would now like to call Karen Quibney, our awards coordinator, and Kelly Howe, our recognition specialist, to the podium to acknowledge some of our amazing awards recipients this year. Ladies. I know, it's very difficult.
Very difficult. Good morning. It is our honor to celebrate the 2022-23 New York State PTA Award winners. Our awards are give the local units a chance to honor students, teachers, units, and councils, as well as leaders to recognize outstanding advocacy and community service.
The New York State PTA Advocate in Action Award acknowledges the involvement of PTA members in their child's education and PTA. PTA is a membership association with advocacy as our primary mission. We should always be proud of the work we do and the accomplishments we have made on behalf of children and youth. Congratulations to all 162 recipients who received this award this year. If you have received an Advocate in Action Award in the past, please stand and be recognized. The Honorary Life Member Award may be given to an individual as recognition of distinguished service to children and youth. This year, we are proud to announce that there were over 535 Honorary Life Member Awards presented statewide. Congratulations to all that received this honor. Please stand if you have received an Honorary Life Member Award. Please also now stand if you received a National PTA Honorary Award. The Distinguished Service Award is given to recognize outstanding contributions to the welfare of children and youth. This year, we are proud to announce that there were over 55 Distinguished Service Awards presented statewide. Congratulations to all our Distinguished Service Award winners. Please stand and be recognized if you received a Distinguished Service Award. The Golden Oak Award and Diamond Award are presented by units, councils, and regions to members and volunteers as a thank you for their continued outstanding dedication and service to children in schools. This year, there were 13 Golden Oak recipients and 12 Diamond Award recipients. Congratulations to all those who have been recognized for their continued commitment to the PTA. Please stand if you have received a Golden Oak or Diamond Award. The Innovative Teacher Grant recognizes innovative classroom teachers and gives them the opportunity to put their ideas into action. The grant is awarded to worthy projects that significantly influence student learning. There are 12 grant recipients for the 22-23 school year, are listed on the screen. Congratulations to all these innovative educators.
The Youth Humanitarian Award in memory of Stanley Marcus is given to recognize a high school junior or senior who best exemplifies the humanitarian principles of Stanley Marcus, who served as a New York State PTA Vice President and is remembered for his humanitarianism and dedication to youth. It is my honor to recognize the state recipient of the 2022-23 Youth Humanitarian Award in memory of Stanley Marcus, Olivia Vigliotta from Contaquat High School in Suffolk Region. Congratulations, Olivia. It is also my honor to acknowledge the 22-23 Stanley Marcus Region Award winners listed here on the screen. Congratulations to all these students. Oh, I guess, do we not have that slide? Okay. Oh, there we go. The Jenkins Memorial Scholarship for Teacher Education is awarding to outstanding high school seniors who will be pursuing a degree in education at a State University of New York school. Recipients of this award receive a $3,000 scholarship. And I'm just happy to announce that that was actually just raised this year. Coming up is going to be $4,000 now. So. It is my honor to acknowledge our 2023 Jenkins Memorial Scholarship students that were listed there on the screen. Congratulations to all of our future educators. The Suzanne Smoller Commitment for Youth Advocacy Award is given to one high school senior to encourage them to pursue post-secondary education or training and to continue their advocacy in the areas of HIV, AIDS, the LGBTQIA+ community, mental health, social justice, or substance abuse. It is my honor to recognize the 22-23 recipient, W.T. Clark High School senior, Gerda Berger from Nassau Region. And before Kelly comes up and this is closing, I just want to remind everybody that the Suzanne Smoller Award application is out right now. The deadline is coming up this week, November 15th. So if you have any youth, please encourage these applications. And then Jenkins is also out, and the deadline for that is December 15th. So these are two active applications that are out right now.
Congratulations to our 2022-23 award winners. We encourage you to check the New York State PTA webpage and learn more about the awards and recognitions available. It is important to honor our members for all that they do, because without them, we cannot continue our mission of promoting children's health, well-being, and educational success. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen and Kelly. In keeping with innovative and exciting new developments and continuing to discuss critical issues that face our students, schools, families every day, we are thrilled to begin this morning's fireside chat with leaders from National PTA and New York State. Please welcome Mickey Wilson, National PTA Connected Ambassador and newly elected New York State PTA officers, Treasurer Sonia Varela and Vice President Rob Rios. During this session, we will have a candid conversation about navigating the ups and downs of digital life. PTA Connect program is designed to empower PTA leaders to create, engage, interact spaces for families to put what they learn into practice, so they feel well prepared as a family to apply the skills needed to be safe while exploring and growing online. We are thrilled to have this panel of leaders to discuss the internet and online safety with our children. It is my honor to turn the conversation over to them right now. Mickey?
All right, thank you so much, everybody. Please bear with me, because as you see, I'm going to be fumbling around a lot with all the things in my hands, so we're going to have a little comedy show up here and see if I can keep it all together. So, thank you for being with us today, and what are we doing in this fireside chat? I was joking with Kyle, by the way, saying, where's my fireplace? And I saw, I saw it on the screen. You're the best, and this is why I love New York. So, today in this chat, we'll quickly, oh, you know what, Helen? I'm reading the old notes that they gave me. I'm going to be doing a highlights reel on PTA Connected, and I'm going to run through the major programs in this initiative. And then we'll go into the best part, our candid conversations, and that was definitely an underlying theme that I heard in the workshops that I got to attend, and conversations one-on-one with people between the expo hall in this room. We'll have some discussion up here on stage, and then we'll have a few opportunities for some small group discussions at your tables. The ultimate goal here is that everybody leaves this session feeling like they're a little bit more empowered when it comes to navigating the ups and downs of our digital lives. So whether that's in your role as a parent or caregiver with your own kids at home, or in your role as a PTA leader with all the kids and families you serve. And there are a lot of resources available from National PTA that I bet you didn't know about, but I promise you will after today. So let's dive in here. Here we go. So what are we doing? I'm going to introduce you to Sonia and Rob. We're going to do an icebreaker that helps us find our common ground. We're going to get to know PTA Connected in these programs. And then we're going to have some table talks. I really want to engage you in those conversations. So again, Helen has already introduced me. My name is Mickey Wilson. I am your National PTA Connected Ambassador, and as I serve this role, what I'm really looking forward to is having those one-on-one conversations with you, this online safety thing, figuring out what digital wellness is. There's a lot of layers to this, and I find that when we have honest and open, oh, I love you, Kyle, thank you. See, she saw me struggling. Well, I find when we have honest and open conversations that a lot of this starts to create the solutions that we want to put in place, right? And not all these solutions are a one-size-fits-all solution. Having conversations allows us to share knowledge with each other and learn what might work for us or what might not work for us. So there's no judging. It's what works for you, your kids, and your family. So let's dive in. I'm pretty sure some of you know Sonia and Rob already, but I'm going to entertain you with a brief bio. Sonia Varillo is your New York State PTA treasurer, and she, yes. I got to chat with Rob and Sonia early on, and I love that Sonia loves tech. So this is going to be a great conversation. She is from Rochester, New York, and has 2 sons in high school. Sonia's starting role in PTA was becoming a PTA president. That's not stressful, not at all, for your first role. Goodness.
When my now 17-year-old son was in first grade.
Okay, can we clap for that? And then Rob has served in PTA for 16 years, and he loves advocacy. So this is going to be a good conversation between tech and advocacy. We can see we're laying the path already. And Rob has 3 amazing, beautiful daughters that I got the chance to meet yesterday. And I just want to say, his daughter that is going into college, she's choosing between what school she wants to do. She made the bold statement that I love, that she is pursuing her major in education because of her dad. Right? And I point that out because there's some other themes that I picked up in our time together this weekend, and that's the importance of role modeling. Whether you're a parent, bonus parent, caregiver, in my case I'm an educator, right? But it's the role modeling that we put in front of our children and students that allow them to be good humans, good citizens, good digital citizens. So I just wanted to point that out. And his other 2 daughters are in high school, so they are on a path to success, one behind the other. So you already heard a little bit about me, so let's move on and jump into an icebreaker. Let's find our common ground. So now that we've introduced ourselves, I want to find out about who is here in the room today. So if you'll indulge me, please raise your hand if you have a child at home who is in elementary school. Excellent. Okay, looks like a third. Okay, next, raise your hand if you have a child who is home in middle school. Okay, I see where this is going to land. How about high school? Excellent. It's not in here, but I'm just throwing it in here anyway. How about college? Excellent, excellent. So we always have fun with this little icebreaker activity, and we do a version of this and others in many of our PTA Connected family nights because it's a lighthearted way of showing how much we have in common as parents and caregivers. I didn't raise my hand, but I'm currently teaching high school students right now. That's fun. I'm doing it asynchronously, so I have about 10 bonus children, I like to say. So I understand the complexities of navigating parenting in a digital world because I have students that come to my class, and I love them. I think if they think I'm not as smart as I know I am, because they put their heads on the desks. But I can see under the desks as they're texting, and I can see the AirPod in their ear that they're not trying to hide. And I can hear them talking when they're actually have the nerve to be on phone during class. And I will just give some context. I teach an early college credit class. It's not one of kind of their core structured classes, but at the same time, I teach them to be the chief energy officers of their lives, right? So I have to knock on desks a lot to get the attention back. So I just want you to know I empathize where you're at, no matter where you're at in the process, and we're gonna figure this out together. Okay, so I know a lot of you partied hard last night because I was down here. So, we can do a hand raise or you can stand. I'm gonna give you options. If you feel like you need to get the blood flowing, you can stand. If you don't wanna stand, please raise your hand, but I'm gonna ask you some questions. Please stand if you have your own computer, laptop, tablet, or smartphone. Okay, your hand raisers, I'm here with you. Yeah, you're not getting me to stand up and down today. Excellent. Raise your hand if you used one or more of these devices today. Okay. Keep your hand raised if you have used one or more of those devices since this session started. It's fair. I love the honesty. Raise your hand if you have ever discovered your child on an app you have never heard of and do not use. I just learned about Roblox in the last session. Now I gotta learn about that. Raise your hand if you have ever asked your child to stop looking at the phone or device so you can talk with them. Not to them, but with them. Two hands if this is a real problem. Okay, I love this. Raise your hand if you've ever taken away your child's device as a consequence. I want to do that sometimes in my class, but I don't know if I'm allowed to. Raise your hand if you use a social media platform to keep in touch with family that live far away. Excellent. And raise your hand if you have a friend or acquaintance that you met online and have never met in person. I just want to say for the context, I'm an online business owner. So don't want anybody to think I'm doing anything strange out here in these internet streets. Excellent. And last question. Raise your hand if you use a social media platform for your PTA. Nice. Is there anybody that did not raise their hands at all out of all these questions? It didn't apply to them. Okay, good. You're in the right room today. So, PTA Connected is an initiative that provides you with turnkey programs to support digital wellness, online safety, data privacy, digital citizenship, and family tech rules. We like to say that this philosophy is positive, practical, and proactive. The chair helps, Kyle, trust me, I promise. Get my flow. So it's positive because we're not going to get anywhere by fear-mongering, right? Making people scared, instilling fear. We embrace that all that technology offers while wanting to ensure that there are guardrails and safeguards in place. It's practical because we know that perfection is the enemy of the good. We are not here to shame parents, and we know that every household is different. Proactive because we believe that it's important to have open, ongoing dialogue so that when an incident or situation does happen, and it will, when not if, everyone is in a better position to address it. Technology's here, We're all connected, and we're all going to figure out how to do this in a healthy way. So as an educator and a PTA leader, I appreciate that the PTA Connected programs take this philosophy to heart. I don't feel inadequate after leaving these events, and I don't feel alone. It feels very empowering to be in a room with people and share space with people who are experiencing the same things. And thanks to funding provided over the years by Norton, Google, YouTube, Discord, Facebook, TikTok, and AT&T, PTAs have been able to host hundreds of PTA-connected programs and events in every state, Puerto Rico, and on military bases. So, I want to introduce you to the Smart Talk. I got to talk to a lot of people about the Smart Talk in the expo hall. The Smart Talk is a great way to start an interactive family conversation. All PTA programming is designed to empower PTA leaders to create engaging, interactive spaces for families to put what they are learning into practice. So they will feel prepared as a family to apply the skills needed to be safe while exploring and growing online. The first PTA Connected program I want to tell you about is the Smart Talk. National PTA and Norton co-created the Smart Talk in 2015 and completed a major redesign last year. The Smart Talk is a free online tool that helps caregivers and children ages 5 to 17 have positive, proactive technology conversations and set healthy digital limits together so families can feel safer and more empowered in their digital lives. Families are guided through the 4 topic areas to create a personalized technology agreement. Technology agreement. Oh, my parents would be, I can feel them, they'd be cringing. Technology agreement that helps keep everyone on track. But again, I talked to a lot of you, and a lot of you are already doing family planning. And I didn't have access to that. My parents, they were hard workers, but the technology I was exposed to was a lot different. And what is really good to hear is that the planning is already happening. I don't think that this falls on deaf ears. In 2022, the Smart Talk was updated with tailored age-based content. It is easier to use with improved functionality such as save and return, a unique family account login, and education linked throughout. It is available in both English and Spanish. So we encourage everyone to use the Smart Talk tool. In a nutshell, it's a great way to just start a conversation with your child or your children and let them have ownership in the process of creating these healthy rules around digital instead of just telling them what they should or shouldn't do, right? Because when we have ownership in something and kind of get a piece to have part of that decision-making process, that alone feels empowering, right? We don't have somebody just telling us what to do and things are bad, bad, bad. It's like we're being engaged in the process. So I love this tool. To help provide families prepare for these conversations at home, we also have created a programmatic event that your PTA can host every year. So I'm going to jump over to Be Internet Awesome, and this encourages parent-to-parent discussions. A lot of the fear about talking about digital safety is that we think we don't know enough, that things are always changing, that our kids know more than we do, and we can't keep up with our digital savvy kids, right? Be Internet Awesome family workshops are a time for parents and caregivers to learn what it means to help their families be smart, alert, strong, kind, and brave online. Engage with their peers to discuss their online experiences and solutions and explore resources and tools to help them stay on track. All parents and caregivers who attend these events leave with a handbook that they can use at home to continue the conversation. Next up, we have Build Up and Belong, and this is especially for teens and parents and/or caregivers. National PTA has teamed up with Discord to offer a PTA-connected program that helps facilitate learning and discussion among families with youth 13 and older. on using online platforms safely, responsibly, and authentically, and it increases their usage of Discord's safety features and practices. PTA leaders and parents have been instrumental in providing insights to Discord over the last year that may have had a little something to do with this, and we will continue to be a strong voice for all families with tech and social media companies. So, it's one of my favorites. This is what I was talking about this weekend. Ready, Tech, Go. And this is a collaboration between National PTA and our AT&T supporters. Last year, National PTA received funding from AT&T to create a new PTA-connected program aimed at families with younger kids. So many of our programs are suited for families with teenagers, and we realized that there was a gap that needed to be filled. We are excited to roll Ready, Tech, Go out nationally this year. So, the goal here is to help families establish healthy digital habits with their kids from the beginning of their journey with devices. Personally, I think this is one of the coolest parts about this program, is the phone readiness quiz. People that had a chance to come up to the table got a chance to grab some of these resources. This short quiz was developed with the American Academy of Pediatrics, and it helps parents quickly assess their child's device readiness and provides really clear guidance depending on how you answer the question. So this simple quiz allows you to answer some straightforward questions and start to really assess how ready for the screens are your child or children. So while screen readiness doesn't have a simple answer, there are great resources to help parents and caregivers make digital decisions. All right, I'm sick of talking. I want to hear from Rob, and I want to hear from Sonia, and then I want to be able to encourage those conversations amongst you all. So we've covered a lot of ground. Let's get the convo going. And a couple questions I'm just going to ask, and then I'll toss it over to you both, is what is keeping you up at night when it comes to kids and digital well-being, social media, and tech? What about when it comes to this issue for your school community? So let's start with the first one. Sonia, let's start with you. What's keeping you up at night?
I think not knowing sometimes all the time who my kids are interacting with online. So I'll just preface, just so you all know, I have a 14-year-old that is very active in the gaming community and plays games on all sorts of platforms. Some of them he knows in real life, some of them he doesn't know in real life, and so we're always having conversations about, especially for me to sort of understand what is the ratio of that. Yep. So.
Big. What about you, Rob?
So, excuse me. So I guess in the IT world, everything keeps me up at night with security and kids. But, you know, we say we don't know what we don't know, right? And it's hard as parents to admit that there are certain things that we just don't know. So from my perspective, having 3 daughters and knowing what they're doing or not knowing what they're doing in social media, the impact that it's having on them and their schools and their relationships, and that disconnect of real environments and real connections is something that really worries me. And I'll talk a little bit about it later on. AI, that's a huge concern that's coming down the pipe. So those are things that are worrisome.
Yeah, in the last workshop that I was in on social media, you both hit on good points, right? Gaming, I remember, okay, I'm gonna date myself here, like Nintendo and Sega and things like that. And then they touched on the fact that, right, gaming is no longer just gaming, but you're talking to other people and interacting with other people now, and that makes for a community, right? And then I'll let you touch on the AI after, because I was in a workshop and I heard, especially being the father of 3 girls, the things that AI has the capability of doing, right? I like to think that everybody's doing things for like the greater good, right? We're all here, we're mission-minded, but in these workshops, you all have taught me some of the things that, tech is doing that's not good. So I appreciate you both sharing that. So let's get to a table talk. And I want you to talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to get some responses from Rob and Sonia first to start to stimulate your minds, but if you want to whip out a piece of paper, if you're not with anybody, huddle up. But what are some tips, tricks, and hacks to solve for these digital well-being and tech concerns and challenges that you can share? So in your households, tell me some of the tips and tricks that you can share with us that may solve some of these problems we're running into.
So I'll say for me, I think the first thing is making sure that when you're creating accounts or looking at electronic content is to use the tools that are already there. When my son wants to play a video game, my 14-year-old, if it's rated mature, he's not getting it. I don't care how great the game is. It's not for his age range. When he first wanted to start to play Roblox and he was, a kid, I put in his actual birth date. So that for Roblox in particular, there was automatic restrictions that were placed on his account because he was under the age of 13. And I'll never forget, because he's 14 now, but when he turned 13, he was begging me to renew his passport because in order for him to be able to get the access to the 13 plus level of Roblox, he had to share a picture of his passport that verified that he was the age of 13. So that made me feel better. Before that, he was restricted. He couldn't talk live to anybody on the game platform, and restricted who he could play with. So that was helpful. So take advantage and learn about what is already built in the platforms that you're doing. I know Facebook has, they had a younger kids messenger system that if your child was under the age of 13, a parent could set that up and could restrict who they could communicate to. So I could set it up so he could communicate only with family members that I specified. So take a look at what's already available on the platforms that you might be using and take advantage of those.
Yeah, privacy features are big because I know there's so many apps and there's so many digital things, right? But I'm gonna go off cuff real quick, but how many parents kind of check the privacy settings on the apps or have some kind of control over privacy settings on whether it's Google, the apps themselves? Excellent. I love this. We care about, privacy is big. Rob, any tips or tricks that you share?
So, so with 3 girls, each one of them, and them using the devices was a completely different experience. My youngest one, she's running, 100 miles an hour with the devices. So my tip is, try to learn as a parent, try to learn as much as I can about these applications and what they have on their phones. Open the account under the parental guidance so you can have a little bit of control. But with her, she calls me a hacker because I show her things that, normal people wouldn't do. So I go to the Wi-Fi router and I say, look, we're getting attacked from all these different countries. And she's seeing it real time. She's like, oh, you could do that? And I said, oh, can you see what I'm watching on the internet? And yes, I can. So, it's just giving her a little bit more depth of the capabilities that are out there. And there are people that are trying to obviously get your information. So just making them aware of the extent of it. It's not just that social interaction. It's the technology behind it and where it's going. And how do you control it? So.
Oh, I love that. I love the parental controls. I have to tell you, the only control I have over my students is I can tell them when I've seen they've not logged into the learning management system. So I know you have not done your homework, not because of your grade, but the first thing I check is how much time do you actually spend on this system? And then they look at me like, you can see that? And I'm like, oh, how many years do I have this privilege? So. You got to do what you can do. So, curious question, how is tech managed in your house, Sonia?
Again, I use the platforms that are sort of available. For mobile devices, we pretty much have Apple devices. So I have everybody, it's on the Apple family account. And I have set, when they're, what the downtime is, under family settings, and what apps they can use during downtime, what apps they can't use during downtime. I have it set so that any apps they want to download, I have to approve, or my husband has to approve. So using, again, what's already built into the platform is helpful. For the computer, we have Microsoft systems, so Microsoft has a family accounts and things that you can set up, and you can set up when they have access to those devices and when they don't. And I was telling Mika earlier, so my 14-year-old son does most of his gaming on PC, and he actually told me, I was telling him I was doing this fireside chat, and I have restrictions on when he can play it, and he actually told me, Mom, next semester when I don't have a study hall, I want you to keep me so I can't get on the computer for an hour after I get home from school so I do my homework. So he actually said, Mom, I want you to, because he recognizes that maybe he might want to get on, but he wants me to put the restriction to say, Mom, keep me off the device for at least an hour when I come home from school so I have time to get my homework done. So I thought that was pretty responsible of him to.
It touches on that age-old thing that, like, our children and students really want structure and discipline. It's kind of like you have to do the child psychology, that they're kind of implementing the structure and the discipline. But again, it's that feeling of empowerment. Good for him.
Yeah,
I
and
love
the downtime on Microsoft is great for those of you that have PCs, because it tells him at the end of the day, you've got 15 minutes, the blue screen comes up. You've got 15 minutes left, and then, I have to either put it, and then I get a notification on my app that, he's requesting additional time. I have to put an, code in to give him that additional time, or it just shuts it off, so then he can't play. He's like, Mom, I was in the middle of this game, and it turned, I got the blue screen. Well, it's, 9:30, it's time for bed, so.
I'm going to skip to the next question, Rob. I'm going to land this one on you. What about at the school or community level? What has your PTA been doing to address digital safety, security, and well-being?
So it's interesting, at the school they have specific policies, right, when you connect to the internet. Some schools, it depends on the school. Some schools don't allow phones at all. They have to be in the lockers. Some schools do have open phones, but they don't provide open Wi-Fi. If they do provide open Wi-Fi, they usually have proxies that they limit the places where students can browse to, or specific applications. So usually from a school district perspective, other than the regular policy that the board would actually implement, then you would have tools themselves, technology tools, to actually limit the usage and the locations of where students go and browse. So it's, I do it in the home as well. So in the home, I have a very complex password. My kids always complain. It's like, oh, there's no way I can get on the internet. But, it's for their own safety. So then I manage it from that perspective, and then you can put in specific code words or how they go. But I'll give a shout out to this conference, because I don't know all the different aspects and the intertwining of the social media and the impact on mental health. To me, this was important to come to and kind of follow that track to see what tools are available within the applications, and as a parent, what I should be doing better to kind of be more aware of how to control that.
Yeah, I think that's why the conversations we have are so important too as PTA leaders, right? We have the ability to be able to inform the process, right? Because when you're a parent, and if there's not that privacy control, right, and it exposes your children to something, real old school again, is my mother loved writing letters to the editor. So I love writing, so if I have a chip on my shoulder about something, somebody's getting a letter. I don't know if they read it, but it makes me feel better. It does, it makes me feel better. I stay away from, I don't do the trigger fingers on social or anything. I will sit down and write a well thought out letter. But your conversations and your actions, whether they're on social or written on a piece of paper with a pen, can inform, decisions. And when you talk to, even at your, even when you talk to local politicians, your school committee board and whatnot, and talk about privacy concerns in general, then we start to have more informed conversations about how privacy lands on all these different apps in our tech and all the things that we use. So I want to throw 5 minutes to you all to talk about this at your table. I want you to share your thoughts on these 3 questions that are on the screen, if we can get those back up there. And I'm pretty good for time, so I'm going to say start now. Start having some conversations. Answer all 3 questions. If there's one that really lands for you, feel free to focus on that one.
Can I ask, are you going to spot check the tables and say, maybe have a volunteer to say what they came up with? Or anything they want to share, or you're, I'm not sure.
See it here. Oh, there you go. I just want to make sure you understood. They're going to make sure every time that you get.
So tongue in cheek, but I was like,
Oh, it was just CMI was like, oh yeah. Like I didn't even have to like. They're like looking, and they're like, oh, we're going to do it behind. They were over there like this. Yeah. So I asked them if we were going to do it. Like I asked a couple of times if we were going to do Q&A, and they said no. But we are ready to do something. Let me just talk to Kyle to make sure there was no reason they didn't want to do that.
because we can either, if that's not more conducive at the end, you can have 1 or 2 people
Okay.
stand up and just share their thoughts.
Sure.
But whatever's easy for you, because I
Yeah,
know you guys are
we are able to do whatever. I just want to double check because I did ask both for Maureen May a couple times. So I'll go ask them now. Okay.
excellent. Thank you.
I'm trying to think. Let me get my phone real quick, and I'll let you know.
I just wasn't sure. We have till 11:15 up here, is that right? Did we start at 10:15-ish?
Yeah.
Does that sound right? Okay.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more minutes. I put the timer on, so we've got a couple more minutes. But it sounds really good.
Bonnie's checking to see if she might be able to kind of get
A couple of tables.
whether it's like
If you want me to walk around with a microphone, or maybe she and I can each take a side, we're happy to do that too.
Yeah, I think if some people want to volunteer, I mean, say if we want to
Nice to
volunteer,
have
there's 2 or 3
people
people,
like
yeah.
having to chance to
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
to the conversation. It's supposed to be informal, right?
Yeah.
The conversation.
great thing when you're by a fire, you know, you can just talk about it. Thanksgiving. They could have
I know,
really
right?
dressed us up here.
Side of donuts too.
Stuff for s'mores.
There's a very, I have to say, listening from the back room, the room is quiet. Everybody's really listening very intently, which I'm surprised. Like it's a, I know it was a late night for a lot of people, but they were very much listening.
And you know what's really good too, because we had a meeting I don't know.
Yeah, for the first time. Exactly.
Yeah, for the first time.
Hearing it for the first time
Yep.
because even when I was going through the stuff,
The programs.
this road, let's get
Yeah.
from my heart. I saw people taking pictures. I was like, okay, this is
Yeah, they are learning about it too.
It's true. Some people didn't come for any other digital mental health.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is so important because it's the first tool. I mean, where do I start?
We are until 11:30. Well, I would say give her 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, I would say that. Let me just double check.
Know to wrap up, and if they have anybody that wants to go to the microphone.
I love the sound of the conversations happening. Continue to have them. This is your 60-second warning of the wrap up. And for anybody that can hear me, oh, I feel like doing 2 claps right now, but I won't. 11:10. Go through. I'll save it. I'll save it for them. Perfect. And we still have 11:10? Yes. Okay, perfect. All right, everybody. We're going to move on to our next set of questions for you to chat about. And while you were chatting, I had our tech team bring up a couple of microphones because we have about 12 minutes left of this fireside chat, and I just want to thank the AV guys for throwing up the fire. I feel warm and cozy up here. We're gonna move on to another set of questions. We had them bring out the microphones because if anybody wants to share something that really resonated for you from your table talk or something that you want to share out today, we wanted to be able to give you that opportunity. So I want to quickly dive into some hot topics. And I think this actually goes to what we were just talking about while people were chatting, Sonia, but how can we as PTA leaders create a culture of digital safety and well-being within our schools and communities?
Yeah, so I think this is so important because I know, at least in the district that I'm a part of, they do a lot of digital safety work with students. It's part of the health curriculum. They talk about it when they're in the library. They have special assemblies that come in that do a pause before you post talk. So there's a wide variety of stuff that's already done at this district level. But one of the things that I was telling Mickey about is that I love all of these PTA connected programs because the scripts are there. You don't have to you don't have to be an expert in the topic. They're ready-made tools that are available, and this is one way that as PTAs, we can provide, again, it's being that strong resource for families as part of our mission. We can give families those tools by having a family event and bringing this conversation literally to the table. So I think it's so important, and I would really encourage every unit to bring one program to their unit this year, one program that pertains to your audience, because again, it's starting that conversation and it's bringing it to the table.
I love that. And before we dive into this particular table talk, because I want you all to think about this too, I have a few questions that fall under this hot topics category that I'm going to throw to my partners up here. And Rob, I'm going to start with you first, but how do you and your kids differ with the way that you use social media and or tech? What are the differences here between adult and child?
So I'll share my perspective. I was a little nervous coming on because I'm not an expert. I got into social media because of PTA. That was my first account because I had to create it and we had to post for the school. And it's night and day for all these years of how they use and consume social media. You know, as a parent, I hear most parents say, we used to have the encyclopedia back in the old school days. The kids nowadays, their encyclopedia and their source of truth is social media.
Yep.
And so there's got to be a certain amount of balance and careness as to how we manage those devices. But we're night and day. They can teach me so many different things, which goes to how do we communicate and collaborate with our kids to learn ourselves and the things that we don't know,
Yep.
so that we're more aware.
That's great. You reminded me of the TikTok challenge that I saw not too long ago. Like, what did people do before the internet? And it was an honest question, but I was like, oh yeah, what did I do? Yeah, I had Encyclopedia Britannica. We were missing the T edition. So, because you had to go and buy them. You couldn't buy the whole thing at once. Helen knows what I'm talking about. Sonia, do you think anonymity online is good or bad, and why?
I think from my perspective, it sort of is a bad thing because I think it emboldens people. And because I'm not using his name, but my 14-year-old, when he plays video games, so his computer is on the main level. I told him it will never be in his bedroom. It is always going to be in a family area. And when he's gaming hard, he swears like a sailor, like words that I would never use. And, you know, because he hears it online. And so, you know, the anonymity I think, emboldens people in I would tend to say probably more bad than good ways. And I think with, the trolling and stuff that you can see that happens on social media, you don't know who's behind the profile picture.
That's true, right? The ghost pictures especially. You both hit on some questions that I had for you guys, actually shared information, like what do you do with tech in your household and whatnot. What programs, resources, apps, tools, anything that you love about tech in particular, do you feel are the most useful in your digital life, and why, if you'll entertain us? Rob, I'll start with you.
So I know I learned this weekend, there's two tools, like Google Home is one of them that is used to control devices, which is one of the platforms. And there are other school districts also have specific tools that they may use for social media monitoring. But one thing as parents is just the awareness. We hear, so the bullying, you have to interact with somebody, and it's not that, I heard in one of the workshops today, which is true, social media in and of itself is not bad, are you prepared for the content, and how are you distributing, and how you feel about it? We're all still human. So if I, for example, go to Sonia and I start poking her, right, she'll be okay for a little bit, but after a while, it's like there is some emotion, some, discomfort. And same thing with a pat on the back. And so social media, the influx, especially TikTok and some of the applications, they bombard you with that, and that changes the feeling of that character. So the awareness of maybe not necessarily the tools, but how is your child behaving? Am I seeing different responses? Should I be concerned? And so just being very aware of what's happening.
I love that. I have to tell you, as an online business owner, I wrote this in my notes after the last workshop. It's very interesting because we spend such a large amount of time online that we have to recognize what's healthy for us in terms of content, in terms of screen time, because there's some days you will look up and you're like, I haven't left this house today, but we have realized through the pandemic that we need to practice self-care and actually break away too, right? And so, it's this consumption of content and how healthy is it for us and when is it good for us to take breaks. So I really appreciate that. I'm going to finish up with this last question because I think this is one that's on people's minds, and people, right, we want to be healthy and know the good things about tech, but inevitably negative things are going to occur, right? So I'm going to toss this to both of you and then we'll break into the table talk, but have you or your child have you had a negative experience on social media? And if you have, what tools have you used or what actions did you take to start to remedy that situation? What's negative, right? It could be anything from somebody.
Yeah, one of the tools I was going to bring up at the last question, but I think it pertains here as well, is there's an online tool called Bark, like the dog, that I've utilized. And what I like about Bark is that it doesn't necessarily prevent your child from seeing content, but it notifies you when they may be exposed to content, and it gives you talking tips of how to discuss it with them, which I appreciate, because sometimes I don't have the words. So my 17-year-old son is a very avid outdoorsman and spends a lot of time watching YouTube videos, and I will get flagged or notifications from Bark, for example, if he's watching a YouTube video or got a notification of a subscription to a video that's about weapons or about knives. Because he's an outdoorsman, right, he may be looking at that kind of stuff, but it gives me, I like having the notification that he's looking at that content. So it didn't block it, which sometimes might happen on another type of platform, but one of the things I really appreciate about Bark is that they give me the notification that he's looking at it, and then it also gives me the talking tips of how to have that conversation.
I love this. I've never heard of that. I'm going to look into that. Just a quick show of hands. Does anybody know about this tool that Sonia just mentioned?
I think they were an exhibitor at SLC in July, too.
All right. So if this tool sounds interesting, you should have a talk with Sonia today before we leave, or connect with her. And I just want to say I appreciate this. I had a ton of questions, but you guys really went through a lot of the framework, and I think, again, it's about having these conversations. What can we learn from each other? I love masterminding and just sitting and tossing out a problem to a group of people and letting them help me solve it, because we don't know what we don't know, correct? So we're gonna start to close this out. So I'm gonna give you about 5 more minutes, and at your tables, because we know we have to deal with this stuff in our own households, right? But how can we, as PTA leaders, create a culture of digital safety and well-being within our schools and communities? So feel free to chat it up for about, I'll give you 4 minutes, because we're gonna close with some final thoughts, and if anybody wants to share anything that they learned today. So timer starts now.
I could just sit here and talk to you guys all day.
We are a little tight on time, so we may only have time for just a couple quick. Because we're already at, I think we're at 11:08, and we just have to give them probably 11:15.
Yeah, maybe go 1, 2, something like that. You know, and that should
Maybe
give you
there may
time.
not be
Is it
anybody.
easier, Bonnie, if you, instead of, because people might be shy to come up, maybe just walk with the mic around the room?
walk? We can do that too.
Because that's
Could, but
faster,
because
probably.
we don't have much
Oh,
time,
okay.
it might be better.
That's true.
And, say, hey, we're gonna take 2 questions. Why don't-
responses, yes.
Why don't one come to one and one? That might make it more controlled.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that, yeah. Good point.
Because I did think about that earlier, but because we're down to so
Yeah,
little
it does.
time,
And if we move, people will
yes,
say
they're gonna
more.
Yeah,
wanna.
and if they want a response, and it takes longer.
Thank you both for doing this.
You're welcome. Yes.
Like that?
I was like, when you first said, I was like, the park. And then we were like the dog. I was like, no,
Yeah. I love that, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Is there a list, so the PTA connect us some programs, but maybe there should be a list of, like, not necessarily PTA endorsed applications, but tools that parents can.
Yeah, like something that it will, or that's sourced by people who contribute to it.
Yes.
Because you're right, we don't really endorse, we don't, we
Right,
can't. But parents can say, like this kind of sharing of like,
This worked for me.
check out this tool, it might work for you. Or have you checked out the parental controls on X, Y, and Z? There's a lot of them.
Some good social posts too, actually. We do this in online business. We talk about like our 5 favorite tech tools, like our top 5 tech stack or something like that helps us do what we have to do better. You can split that through the lens of like
That's interesting. Maybe have parents vote on it.
yeah, it can be interactive.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Ivy Riley. I am on the programs committee for National PTA.
Hi, Ivy. I saw your name. Okay, excellent.
So I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I'm in the bathroom. I'm so sorry, but I heard there's like a really good discussion. But
Do you want to volunteer to talk at one of the mic about your thoughts?
I could talk about. I'm so glad you brought up park. I was like, why weren't we talking about park?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna throw
And
it out.
one of the reasons I was appointed to this position was because I have done some of these PTA Connected, down the grants and gone through, and the toolkits are so wonderful because they really teach you. One of the biggest issues that we have and why the grants are not being applied for is because of the stigma attached with the name of the sponsor. I don't want my kid on TikTok. I don't want my kid on X. And so if they're the ones sponsoring, it's a real thing. Like we almost didn't do the Creative Kindness grant because we didn't want to have to say sponsored by TikTok because we didn't want anybody to think that we were connected to them. So what we did was we talked about it in an educational way. We took 2 3 different platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and not Facebook, because that was and Snapchat, right? And we compared them and talked about the pros and cons. And for me, I have an 8th grader who does not have a cell phone, and she won't get one until probably the end of 9th, like my son did. And it's really important that they don't have social media. I'm happy to do that, but
You know what? I'm gonna have you hold that conversation because I don't want to debate that and we don't have enough time.
No,
But
if
thank
you
you for that feedback. Thank you for that feedback.
But Mark doesn't cover Snapchat. That's the most dangerous.
We're out of time.
No, it was so nice to meet you. All right, everybody. I have been given the flag. We're going to start to wrap this up.
I love the conversations, and I love, again, I got to just meet Ivy and chat with her. But these one-on-one conversations, these table talks, are so critical to the work that we do, the knowledge sharing, and really being able to be proactive, positive, and practical in our approach and our philosophy to online safety and digital well-being. So my final thoughts here are, oh, I love this. I feel like a teacher just did 2 claps for me. 2 claps? 2 claps. Oh, wow. My students do this better than you guys. 2 claps? I love this. You're not alone is the message. This is hard work, but PTA Connected is here for you. And I have to give up my fire in my warm place next to Rob and Sonia, but I want to entertain just 60 seconds. Is anybody just burning to share something that was shared at their table? We have a microphone here and a microphone here. We can take 2 brave volunteers, 1 from each side, if you just want to share a quick 30 to 60 second message with us. Oh, my girl is coming to the podium.
Hi, I just want to quickly, I don't know what we can do about it, I don't know what our power is, but we have to get a hold of Snapchat. It is a platform that promotes predatory bullying. They're living in a generation where we were all bullied. It's part of junior high. It's part of life. There'll be bullies when they're adults. The problem is we could leave school and leave them. Our children cannot leave the cyber world. They are attacked with advertising, bullying, inappropriate videos, pornography 24 hours a day. So none of us know how to deal with it because it's never been an issue before. This is brand new. But I do not believe that it should be allowed in schools, but I know it's also personal property. So they can't say I think we could say put your phones away, you can't use them, but today it's get your phone out and do your science project. Get your phone out and here's a map of the school. So I don't know how we can put a ban on you're not allowed to do Snapchat. There is nothing good on Snapchat from 8 to 3 p.m. Nothing. And they shouldn't be on it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I took that recording of her because it's very important for me. I'm doing 2 things at once, but to remember the things that you're sharing with us so that these are shared just beyond this room. Go right ahead.
So when Sonia said that in order for her child to be able to enter that platform, they requested a copy of your passport or driver's license, that is incredibly concerning to me. No one should ever upload a picture of a passport unless it is to a government agency. That is the quickest way for your passport to be stolen.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that critical piece of information. And again, it goes down to privacy and what we share. Again, we'll take the last one, and then Helen, the floor is all yours after this one. Good.
Really quickly. So the most important thing that I would like to stress is that education on these platforms are really important. AI is a thing, it's here. So our teachers need to be trained in how to use it, and they need to teach their children, the students, how to use it properly. We brought this up as a PTA immediately when ChatGPT came out, and the first thing we said was, we can't prevent them from using it, so how do we get to use it? Teach them how to use it responsibly, teaching them to source it and to fact check. The thing about social media is people need to fact check. Don't believe what you see on social media. Check it for yourself. Make sure it's a reliable source. If we can get that through to people, especially the adults, our kids can learn something. That's really important. Bark does not cover Snap. And yes, I agree with everything you said about Snap, because it is so incredibly dangerous. So if we have to continue to monitor our children, but they learn about it before we do. So just keep that in mind, educate yourself, and continue to be safe and look for reliable sources online. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivy. And thank you, everybody. Keep these conversations going at home, in your communities, in your PTAs. Thank you for having me. There's a QR code to scan more technology about PTA Connected, but thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you. Thank you. Wasn't that a fantastic conversation? Thank you to Mickey, Sonia, and Rob for sharing their expertise as we are supporting kids, raising awareness to ensure the online and digital safety for our children. I'm going to have you come up and do prizes. Okay. So early this morning, prizes were drawn. If your name is called, please, hello. 2 more seconds, and I have a very short closing speech. Very short. Well, not very short. Okay. Please see our office staff outside this room at the conclusion of the general session. Carol, would you like to read the prize winners?
I have a correction to that. Don't see me after this room. See me now. Kyle, oh, do I need, if we call your name, Kyle and Tiffany will hand off your prize to you. Starbucks gift certificate from AIM Insurance, Ray Kemp from Western. From Clothesbin, we have a $25 Visa gift card, Jessica Hartman. Jessica, are you here? Are you Jessica? Okay. Connection to creativity. I don't know what this means. Color by vowel. I don't know what that means. Mary Ward. Sorry, Mary, don't know what that is. Here's a gift from a prize from Designs by Skip, the school calendar magnet, the guy who does our bags for us. $229 value, electric vest. Not sure what that even means either. Oh, Nick Giappo, you're going to be pretty warm then. EAP School Photography is a $25 Amazon gift card. I apologize to this person. Starts with the letter Z. Last name is Hall from Nassau. Oh, Ziola. Gotcha. Gersh Academy, you know, the driver ed guy? We have one of his little driver ed machines. I know. Southeastern Region Mackenzie Valley. Thank our friend Dave here from Life Touch for a Kindle Paperwhite. Janine Eichenholz, are you here? Janine? And then our friend from Make a Buddy, the little teddy bear sitting over there. Cindy Caraballo, Central Hudson. From the New York Deafblind Collaborative, a first-time exhibitor, we have a coffee mug with chocolates to Kara Perkins. Kara, you here from Leatherstocking? Oh, moving on. I got extra names down here for that reason. Sally Pinto. The New York 529 College Savings Program, $25 Amazon gift card. Jen McPhee, you deserve a little prize. What? The mugs with the chocolate is going to Sally Pinto. Jen McPhee, by the way, I want you to know, Gail Gligora, Amazon gift card from 529. Jen McPhee, I want you to know that Gail Gligora, before she left, said this was her best team in the store helpers ever. From the Parent Action Network, a smoke screen book, Amy, I think it's Zogby, Southeastern. Amy, are you here? From Starbridge, I have a shirt and a mug inside some basket. Lori Hernandez, Malamo. From Swank Movie Licensing, this is a pretty cool gift, right? Fire HD8. June.
Technology.
And our alliance partner, this is the last prize. Our alliance partner, Explora. I'm sure when you all visited the table, you saw their watches that they had there. It is a nice prize for Marion Warwick. Marion. All right, well, thank you all. I hope you had a great weekend, because I know I did, and I know I'm exhausted.
Well, this morning, my dear friend Bevan said, if you're not exhausted, you did not attend this convention. Okay. So, wow. Did you guys have fun? Were you inspired? And did you meet a lot of awesome people this weekend? Well, delegates, we did it. We adopted bylaws and read all the resolutions. I know the resolutions team is very happy. We heard from National PTA President Yvonne Johnson, Commissioner Betty Rosa, and her colleague David Frank. Keynote speakers Mary Cadera and Teacher of the Year Billy Green. We honored the 2023 award winners. We listened to beautiful voices of our students. We attended wonderful workshops and special luncheons and dinners. We got to meet members throughout the state. We had 7 past presidents here this weekend with us. We did all of that and more, and we did it together. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each and every one of you for being part of the New York State PTA history. But most of all, I want to thank you for always supporting kids and raising awareness for every child with one voice. I'm looking forward to seeing you at this year's events and next year in Saratoga for the 128th annual convention. Safe travels all, and thank you. Good night. Good afternoon.